USA have advanced to the 2023 World Cup qualifier thanks in part to a century in the biggest chase in U.S. history by then 18-year-old Sai Mukkamalla. Sai is joining me on the show today. Sai, I'm very proud to welcome you to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Nate. It's a pleasure to be on here and talk with you about cricket.
Pleasure having you. You're a star now. You scored it was a beautiful century too. But you just had your birthday. You just turned 19 years old. And it's amazing that you just turned 19 because you're such a mature player. That innings that you put together was a very mature innings. You were going about a run a ball most of the time, rotating strike well. And it was, like I said in the intro, it was the biggest chase in U.S. cricket history in one day international cricket. What was your thought process during at the start when you came in the middle there?
I think, with the start that we had from Cheyenne and Sushant, I knew that, they built a good foundation for the rest of the team. So then from there, I just knew that if I carried on, just build partnerships with whoever came in. I think me and Sushant's partnership, built foundation, and then me and Monak, that 100-run partnership really laid the platform for the rest of the guys. And even before the inning started, I think Monak talked to me and he was just like, play your game and just be natural. And I think that's what really helped me in my mind as well, to out the nerves and just go out and play my game.
Everybody has strengths when it comes to cricket. If you're playing at your level, you're there because you have a strength, and at least one. And a lot of people, when they analyze your game, they think of you more as a one-day type of a batter right now. Well, you're very young. You're 19. You haven't played a game yet as a 19-year-old. You've only played as an 18-year-old. You do play a really good way for that type of cricket, and associate one-day cricket is so much different than full member one-day cricket. The one-day cricket so many people are used to watching on TV. Associate cricket is so much different, and it's different because the wickets aren't pristine. They're fine. They're sporting wickets, but they're not roads. You're not going to score 400 runs. There's so many wickets in a associate member one-day match. I think the games are always better. So often a team is bowled out in the first innings with 3 or 4 balls left on the table, and so often that comes back to haunt a team. What is it like for you playing in knowing going into these games they're all going to be close, every one of them matters? It's got to be a little bit stressful.
Not really. I mean, stressful maybe. It's like sometimes it could also be like fun. You take it as enjoyment, because associate cricket, as you said, you won't get the best of pitches or the best of infrastructure, but at the same time the cricket will always be intense no matter what. So I think if you just take that nerves as pressure and take it as enjoyment, then it all becomes pretty easy.
You're also often playing on consecutive days because you have to fit the whole tournament into such a short amount of time. So there's always going to be a couple of times in a tournament where you're playing on consecutive days. That's tough on everybody. It's especially tough on the fast bowlers, as we know. But after playing a long innings like you did, do you struggle with the recovery if you have to play again so soon? How different is that than what you're used to?
Yeah, that's true. The recovery sometimes can be tough. You come back to the hotel about 7, 8 p.m. and then you got to sleep. And then by the time you know it, you're at the ground the next morning. So it can be very tough on some guys, especially the Pacers. They come out, got about 10 overs every day, and it's a little tough. But for me, I'm still young, still have the fresh legs a little bit. So it's not getting to me just yet. But I think for the senior guys, it's a little bit tough for them. And I hope that's something the ICC considers.
Speaking of fast bowlers and it being tough on the fast bowlers, how tough was Ali Khan as a fast bowler on everybody else?
Yeah, Ali Khan, he's a special. He's one of a kind in USA cricket, and I think the energy he brings and that ruthlessness he brings to the table is he just wants to go out there and just destroy every team, and that's the energy that we need to beat big oppositions. And he's a standout player and someone that performs in the big scenarios. So.
Right, and he really does have that attitude. I mean, you see it. He actually, recently got suspended because maybe some people don't appreciate that attitude as much as we do. But yeah, he was absolutely amazing. He led the tournament in wickets. He took 7 in one innings against Jersey, which was the team. A lot of people weren't putting this out, but this was the team where he got injured a year ago. A comebacker. He bowled one and came right back. The guy crushed it too. Fractured his wrist. I think I saw the X-ray. It was like, yeah, it was legitimately fractured. He still tried to bowl a ball after that. Remember?
Yeah, he still bowled left.
Yeah, that's a tough cookie right there. Like you said, he always brings that. He always brings that intensity. He's been with the team through all the way since back in what Division 4 or so, and
Yeah.
he's brought the team along. You know, he's been one of the top performers at every stage for USA. Obviously, he's appeared in a lot of T20 tournaments around the world, a lot of T20 franchise cricket. Was recently drafted in the first round by, of course, the LA Knight Riders, and so you know he's a special kind of a cricketer. And it's nice to see another special kind of cricketer developing in yourself with USA. Like you said, you don't see it as stress so much as you see it as fun. I was talking to Rusty Theron last week. He mentioned that you got to think that way. You can't see it as stressful. You have to see it as an opportunity.
Yeah, I think at the next level, mostly you just gotta think of all of them as opportunities. You know, if you get bogged down, then sometimes you'll take too much into the mind and then you won't perform as well. So the most important thing is mostly just being free and just playing your game and sticking to your strengths and not to worry too much about the result, but just focus on the process and what you're gonna do to get better.
Right. And you mentioned what you're going to do to get better. Well, you've come an awful long way in your cricketing life. You don't just step into cricket and make the national team. You know, you start somewhere and you work really hard, and it kind of almost has to be like an obsession of yours. You know, has to be something that you really enjoy and that you want to spend your time doing. You want to do it. And so tell us about that. Tell us about your journey as a cricketer starting from the beginning.
Yeah, I started in 2011, so this is my 12th year playing, and so I started when I was 7. And it was after the 2011 World Cup. Obviously India won. I think a lot of kids my age would say that was the turning point for them playing cricket. And I think from there, I had a lot of coaches and a lot of support also from my parents. They invested in me from young. And from there, I just kept on playing, traveling the world. I went to India, the West Indies, England. And from there, I just, kept playing and kept learning. And I think all that exposure that I got at an early age really helped me. And the reason why I think I'm so mature right now is because I always played with guys who were older than me. And, I was able to learn a lot from them.
Right. Well, you mentioned India winning the World Cup in 2011 and that being the starting point of you playing cricket. The very next year, India won the U19 World Cup, and they did that with a few guys who are in Major League Cricket right now, and guys who you have played with, and you've spent time in the middle with Unmukt, for example, who was the captain of that team. And that's because of the goal of and the actions of Major League and minor league cricket to bring these excellent players over here. But yeah, the whole idea was to try to get players like you playing with these high caliber players who have, first class, sometimes IPL experience. You've benefited from that from where I sit.
Yeah, definitely. It was an amazing experience, playing with all these guys. Played with Corey, as you said, Unmukt, Smith Patel, Harmeet Singh, and all of them, every time I step out on the field with them, I always take away something and learn from them.
Right.
Especially when we had I think it was the Houston Challenge, where
Right.
all players were split into 4 teams. And that was honestly the part where I think my cricket went to a next level because I was able to learn so much and take away so much from just that training. And I'm really grateful to MLC for helping me. I think without them right now, I think I would be years behind in my cricket.
Well, that's great to hear. That's part of the goal, for USA and Major League Cricket to work together to help achieve, to help bring our passionate, talented young cricketers up to a higher standard, so that they can move the whole product forward in the USA. And I'm glad that you mentioned that Houston Challenge because I was there for the Houston Challenge last year, and you were fantastic. Actually, there was one innings I remember you got hit right in the cup. I think it was I think it
Karma.
I think it was Carmi got you right in the cup, and then I think it was like maybe two or 3 overs later. It wasn't. I think it was about 3 overs later. You absolutely demolished one. You remember that I think you hit it to mid wicket. You just absolutely pulverized it. Like you cleared the boundary by a good 40 yards on that one. You remember that shot?
Yeah, I know that was a scary feeling, you know. That ball was coming quick that day. You know, the wind was very heavy and he was also blowing really quick. And when I got hit there, I was just froze for a second. But thankfully everything was good. And then, you know, I just got back up, focused on the next ball. And then I think, you know, playing sometimes when I play against those quality bowling, I always feel, you know, like I feel like it's a kind of like a challenge and I like challenges. So it's something that helps me perform even better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just remember thinking, oof, how do you keep going after that? You know, you're a young guy, and at the time you were this was what, last March, so you were 17 years old. Yeah, Carmi was probably the fastest bowler at the tournament. Well, like, going back to USA, Kevin Darlington is the coach right now. He's an interim coach. You guys went down to Namibia, and Darlington won himself the tournament there, or you know, you guys won it with Darlington as your head coach. And you know, I know he's been with the team for so long, and he's done such a good job of being around you guys and working with you. And he's a hard worker. I've seen him in your practices. It's nice to see him still with the team. He knows everyone so well.
Yeah.
How comfortable was that for you guys going down there with Darlow as your coach?
I think it was a really good decision because, as you said, he was with the team for a lot of years. He even played for US, so he also understands what it's like for us players. And I think, you know, he was also the U19 coach, so I knew him pretty well. And he's a great coach, but even better guy. So, you know, just having him there to support us, and I think what the role that he played there, you know, is kind of like a mentor and also like a friend. He helped everyone out. You know, he's close to everyone, doesn't leave out anybody, and you
Right.
know, he creates those connections like just like that. He's a very good guy.
Yeah, yeah. I really like the fella. He's popular down here. I remember when we met him at the airport for the first time, because you know we were meeting people at the airport and driving them to their hotels and stuff when they would come through Morrisville. Yeah, and Kirk Higgins is still in the mix. He's definitely a legend
Yeah,
locally. And
definitely one of the best managers that we have. You know, he's a great guy, always timely, always great. You know, always helped us out. So big
yeah.
shout out to Rick as well.
Yeah, I love the guy. Yeah, I think it's you know, it's great that those guys are still in the mix. It's really it's nice. It ties so many things together because they've been around since Poobadoo. Speaking of Poobadoo, Canada now has ODI status, and Coach Poobadoo, he's had success with every team he's ever coached in associate cricket. Um, I think it's fantastic that Canada have ODI status now because now you can play more meaningful games against them. Those games are incredibly tight games. They're always, every time you guys play Canada, it's like fireworks. It's just, the games are always close. There's always some crazy thing that happens. You know, last year with Hamza Tarek uh, prematurely celebrating. You know, of all the guys in cricket that you're going to pick to prematurely celebrate, you're not going to bet that he's going to he's going to do that. It's just it just goes to show that every player can make a mental mistake on that final ball. Remember with Ali and
The one out.
yeah, it was Rusty and Ali were in the middle, I think, on that ball. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was what a finish that was. And then going back to 2018 here at Church Street Park, when you had Stephen Taylor chasing, I think he needed 22 in the final over to win, and they won against Canada with a ball to spare.
The
Just
the games against Canada are always intense, you know, and it's good that they got ODI status now that, you know, there'll be tournaments maybe such as Auty Cup. Hopefully it comes back. And, you know, and since they're so close, it'll be easy to travel and play a lot of games. So hopefully, you know, it's gonna be a lot of good practice as well and, you know, good games for the also the public to watch.
right, and I'm hoping that I don't know how anxious Canada will be to help us out, but I'm hoping we can schedule. I'm hoping to see Canada's name mentioned in a series of maybe two games. How about two games? We only need two games for Ali to serve as suspension. So I would love to see USA play Canada for a couple of games and get a maybe three games, even do a little Auty Cup, maybe even a T20 Auty Cup, something, because those games are immense. They're incredible, and I think that's a great way to build USA cricket support, is by having USA play Canada more often. But now there's no excuse not to play. They're going to play each other. They're all on the same level.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be great, especially the next 4 years. Probably gonna be playing, I think, the same challenge league. I mean the World Cup League too. I think 36 games for everyone. And,
Right.
hopefully, and if the games happen, hopefully Morrisville gets those dressing rooms set up so that we can turn that ground into a nice OEI ground, because at that ground, it's the best ground that I think I've ever played on. The atmosphere that comes out, the lights and everything. Hopefully, when Major League starts, I think it's gonna be absolutely incredible at that ground.
Yeah. Oh, I hope so. I love hearing you talk praise this ground down here because I'd love to see you guys every time you guys come down here. Every time New Jersey comes down here, the New Jersey Stallions from minor league cricket.
Yeah.
You guys all look like you're happy to be here. It's almost like it's almost like a home ground for you because everybody here, if you're not playing against Morrisville, teams tend to be cheering for the New Jersey Stallions when you're here. I think part of that though is that your ownership was smart enough to pass out hats to the kids.
Hats and jerseys.
Yeah, hats and jerseys. That was a great move. So everybody pay attention there. There's some points. When you come to Morrisville, bring hats and jerseys. The kids are gonna love you. There's always a bunch of kids at these games here. I mean, the minor league cricket is inspiring a whole new generation of kids right here, right now. Kids like you, kids like Abraham Bolasetti, who saw Stephen Taylor in that finish at Church Street Park, and he's spoken many times about how that inspired him to want to play for USA. That pushed him to that next level of drive. And we've got some tremendous great players, great young players here. Adi Gupta, we got Rohan Fadki, we got Sanjay. So it's a great community, and the ground has so much to do with it. It's just an anchor point for the whole community, for the whole cricket community here. So yeah, if we had our way, you'd be down there every weekend playing at Church Street Park.
Yeah, it'll be great. Hopefully next year, that's the plan. And I think minor league is going to be mostly on turf this year, or hybrid wickets. And we also know that major league is going to be at that ground, so it's going to be really
Right.
good. Morrisville, it's always a great energy, and the crowd is amazing. So hopefully, gets even better next year.
Yeah, absolutely. So you were talking about how you were saying without the major league events, without the minor league and the major league events, you don't think you'd be as far along as you are now. Not only do those events help nurture you as a cricketer and help give you the competition to play against and the mentors to help you along, it gives a standard for selectors. And I know you just scored a century in one day cricket, and I know minor league cricket and major league cricket are T20 cricket, but it is still a measuring stick for you against all the other players in the country.
Yeah, it's a very good platform. Like if you go a couple of years back, there was really nothing for the selectors to really look off to pick a team. And now you have minor league, 27 teams across the country, and honestly, all these teams have very good talent. I know youngsters, I think the youngsters have been improving a lot over the years, especially with MLC. They have the coaches, they have all their coaches in specific areas in the country, and they've been helping the cricket develop. And I think it's been a great idea to bring those guys in as well. Also helps the youngsters and also even the local guys here to understand more about the game. And I think when Major League comes in, it's going to be even bigger platform for the
Right.
guys from minor league to go. It's going to be, just going to keep getting better. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you said it. You said it right there. Very well said. And also, you were sent overseas for a while from Major League Cricket for some extra training. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, they sent me to Mumbai to work with Praveen Amre. I think it was four of us, me, Monank, Andrea's house, and Obis. I think that was
Right.
the best cricket I've ever played in my whole life. In Mumbai, it's just a different level of cricket, and especially the wickets that they have and the planning that MLC and their clinic that the Praveen Amre's academy put into this. I think that really changed my game. And what I've learned from there is the reason why I think that I was able to score that 100 like in the qualifier game. So I think that really changed my game. And really also playing against the kids in India, you get to know more about how to get better, what's the difference between playing in US and playing in India, and what's
Right.
the steps that are needed to get to that same level.
Yeah, I mean that's fantastic stuff. You were there with cricketers, getting good cricket coaching. I mean, all the cricketers that you named that went with you, Mononk, Obus, and Andres, all super good cricketers. And so, you know, it's great to see them benefit from it too. But they're bringing, Obus is here in Morrisville, helping bring the kids along as well. He's a heck of a cricketer. He's got a great disposition.
Yeah, lots of these MLC guys are very talented. We have lots of good batsmen, good all rounders. Harmeet Singh, I think one of the best talents that we have right now.
Right.
Qualifies for US. I think that when actually most of these guys qualify for US, it's going to be very good. The team's going to get much better, and we'll see what happens. So
right, and that is already a deep role, the left arm orthodox all rounder. So your captain in New Jersey is Jersey Singh, who's your teammate with USA Cricket. You guys have made the finals weekend 2 straight seasons, both seasons. Now this is a really big accomplishment when you consider a couple of things. First of all, the East Division is a tough division.
yeah,
You guys, you have to have a well-rounded team. There aren't a ton of great grounds in the East. So you have, but that's going to change because we're getting hybrid in the East, which is, I can't wait for that. I'm really stoked that the East is going to get hybrid wickets, because that's where I think we could make the biggest ground. The cricket in the East, though, is very, very aggressive, very competitive. Yeah, it's super competitive. So for you guys to emerge out of that division into the playoffs, so both seasons you finished ahead of Morrisville, and you had the right to choose where you were going to play the the semifinal, and you guys made the smart decision, and the decision that local fans here like. You decided to play the semifinal here in Morrisville, and I think that was a bold decision. You decided not to play at a ground you're more familiar with, but to play on a ground that if you win, you get to play at again the next weekend, and it gives you that extra week of preparation. You think that's what went into that decision?
Yeah, I think we also didn't want to play in those New Jersey grounds, thick grass, matting wickets. It's kind of not as fun. Honestly, for us as a team, we like the energy, we like the crowd. And, we
Right.
perform well. All of us are very well united together.
Right.
Jesse is also a great captain, and the management
Sure.
that we have, I think, is one of the best. So they made a really good decision by playing in Morrisville. Also helps us prepare for the next weekend in the semis and finals. So it was
Right.
a very good choice for us to go down there and also get used to how it is like under lights and that atmosphere down there.
Right. Yeah. And like you said, Jesse's a great captain. He's been a good captain for that team. I think his captaincy is pretty underrated, actually. I think one of the things he seems to do good is get a team united. And you got a lot of good character players on your team for anyways. You got a lot of guys that are going to play hard anyhow.
Yeah.
And the way that you all play, if you look at your team's batting stats, you're not gonna think that you guys were gonna get as far as you have, because your team doesn't overwhelmingly impress people when you look at strike rates and things like that. But what you guys have gotten super good at is winning really close games and bowling really well in tight games, especially. You have a lot of bowling depth. Yeah, so you already had good talent at bowling. The year before, you had Stephen Wake, you had Justin Dill, and you had Jersey Singh. Well, you lost Justin Dill to St. Louis, and you brought over Minaj, and you already had Sasha Mailavarapu from the season before, who returned last year. Excellent bowler. Ray Remrotten has taken a whole nother step in his game, especially with the bat last year. And he bowled very, very well. But we all know about his fielding prowess. He's a tremendous fielder, just an all-around very good cricketer. So Ray is a guy that when I look around and I see and I think about leg breaks bowlers that are on the USA's radar, to me, Ray's got to be somewhere on that list.
Yeah, I think definitely he's. I've been playing with Ray since I started, so like in 2012 at New Ray, and he's a great guy. He's also a very good cricketer. He's a pure all-around talent. You can bat, you can bowl, and he's an exceptional fielder. So I think he's definitely on that radar. Hopefully this minor league, he gets a chance to prove himself again. And, I think in this major league, I think they can still do two more U23s per team before the season starts. So hopefully he gets a chance in that as well.
Oh, I'd love to see him as one of the U23s. I think he really deserves it. This is one of the great things though. We have so many guys at the U23 in that range who are super good. You and I could list, there's 12 more slots for that. You and I could list 30 guys, I think. Or maybe not 30, but at least we could list 20. You got to play with Rodman Powell 2 seasons ago. The 2021 season. That was, oh my gosh, he put on a show at Church Street Park. I mean, I talk about it all the time. Anyone who's watching this episode is like, oh great, Nate's going to talk about Rodman Powell again. And and that in his offside shots, some of the cricket shots that he played were just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, no, he's a very good cricketer. I mean, when he hits the ball, it stays hit. The ball disappears. And he's also a very humble guy. The first time I met him, I was a little nervous. I didn't know what to expect. But then, after he speaks and gets to know, he's a very nice guy, very gentle, and especially very supportive and helping guy. So it's a very good addition to our Stallions family. That's the type of guys that we usually bring in, people that are, kind and helping to the other guys and, teach them how to play as well.
Right. And then of course, Dominic Ricky, who known for his fitness, known for I think for a while there, I think he had the best beep test in the USA, or one of the best. So that Stallions team has had some great players on it. I'm really looking forward to seeing who you're going to have on the team this year, and you can go ahead and leak whatever you want right now.
I don't think I'm allowed to tell you just yet, but we have a good amount of surprises. So see how it goes. You'll see in a couple months.
You came up through Dream Cricket Academy, correct?
Yeah, Dream Cricket and Crick Max.
And Crick Max. Okay. Yeah, I remember. It was about this time last year when I was up in New Jersey, and I stopped by with we had gone to the John Boy warehouse, and that night we went over to Dream Cricket Academy, and I bumped into you. As soon as I walked through the door, I think you were like the first person I saw there. But yeah, I was impressed by the place. I thought it was really nice. There are a lot of enthusiastic kids there. It looks like a great environment, really nice establishment, the actual indoor building.
Yeah, I think New Jersey has some of the most youth cricketers in the country. They have I think they have about 7 or 8 academies now. I know all of them are like, each got like 200, 300 kids. So,
Right.
There's a lot of cricket now, especially in New Jersey and California, Texas, and now North Carolina. I think these are the places, and it's good to see that, the other places such as St. Louis, Seattle, and all those places are also developing and being as big as our towns right now.
This is what excites me so much about the U19 national championship. It was such a great tournament in 2021 U19 nationals. I actually interviewed you after at least one of the games. And Earl was your coach then of that team.
Yeah. I've been with Coach Daly since I started. He was my first coach. He's a very good coach. Him and also a more named Coach Morgan were my 2 first starting coaches, and they also taught me a lot of the cricket I know, and also Ashok Patel from Crick Max. These 3 coaches have been with me all the time, and I think him being the coach of that team, most of us in New Jersey know who he is, and we were able to, gel with him easily and be able to, be free around him. So it was good to have him as coach of that team.
Well, that's great. And I really do like the New Jersey area for cricket. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think about how great it would be for there to be a Church Street Park there, an environment like that, where you can play some local league games, but most importantly, minor league cricket games, and some youth tournaments, and hosting USA games there too. All these things would really reward the community for really, they deserve it. I think if somehow there can be something done with a municipality there, that would be amazing. I read an article today about a municipality about Boston developing one of their existing cricket grounds, teaming up with the local league there to make sure that they have a nice ground. So the more we get things like that, the better it's going to be. The more we get some partnerships with the public sector, we can make these strides, because really stadiums, I talk about it all the time. The stadiums are very expensive to develop, especially in your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
And so you have to get creative. You have to make moves like Morrisville did, to have the town built the ground, and the town cared that it was a good ground, so they got good expertise there. That's another thing. The town can build the ground, but they got to do it right.
Yes. New Jersey deserves, one of the good grounds. But hopefully, the next couple of years, something comes up, maybe New Jersey or New York area. But I think if you have a nice ground in New Jersey, such as Morrisville, I think that's going to be one of the best playing places to play cricket. I think the crowds that come in, the atmosphere. I don't think you'd find New Jersey supporters of cricket anywhere else in the country. I think that the ones that we have here are very extreme, and they take it seriously.
Yeah. Oh man. I think if you had a public ground with like little barbecues set up around, 10, 15, 20 yards from the boundary at least. But if you had stuff like that set up around, oh my gosh, it would be unbelievable. You would have like a festival every weekend for cricket.
Yeah, it'd be great. I mean, we already have festivals like that for every club game that we have. So I think even if we get even better grounds, then I think the sky's the limit for us.
Yeah, that would be something else. Well, speaking of New Jersey being a great breeding ground for cricket, are there any young players coming up through New Jersey right now that we should keep our eye on?
There's a lot. New Jersey always had a lot of talent. Maybe I can give you two. There's a lefty batsman, Pranav Chetapalli. I think he'll make this US U19 squad, and also Auty Cup. I think those two right now in New Jersey are the ones I know that have a chance. And then you also got Anirudh Emmanuel, who was also
Right.
U19, who was with us in the zonals last year. So there are lots of talent in New Jersey. It's always been a lot, and it's going to be good.
And Anirudh Emmanuel was with Philadelphia last year, the Philadelphians. Yeah, we saw him at Church Street Park. That was the weekend where we had his team had consecutive Super Over games. It was an incredible weekend. But yeah, we look forward to more of these incredible minor league cricket weekends. We had the draft for Major League Cricket, and there were 8 rounds of regular draft, and then there was a 9th round, which was U23s, and you went in the final spot, which surprised everybody, literally everybody. You went to not that you were drafted, but that it was the final part. It was the last pick of that draft. But you went to the Texas Super Kings.
Yeah, I was very nervous. The last pick was coming out. I thought my hopes were gone, and then I heard Mr. Gill say my name, and I was like, all right.
Well, I knew it would be tight, because when Ali Sheikh went in the regular draft,
yeah,
and when Bhaskar Yadram didn't go in the regular draft,
yeah,
that was a flip of what I thought would happen. I thought Bhaskar would go in the regular draft. Ali would for sure go, especially after the week he had. He had a phenomenal week in the combine games. It didn't work out that way. So I was like, well, anything can happen now, So with Bhaskar still on the board, I knew it was going to be kind of tight. So many extremely good cricketers that didn't get picked there, that we will probably find a spot on a U23 slot coming up.
good that they have the 12 more spots after minor league. Hopefully these guys can perform well in minor league, showcase their talent, and they'll get picked in those spots.
Right. And not only that, but the 6 other spots for anybody.
Yeah.
So that'll be good to see who gets picked in those places. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this summer. It's going to be a great time. We've got the qualifier for the World Cup coming up in August. We got potentially an Auty Cup. I'm going to go ahead and say potentially an Auty Cup, and also, of course, Major League and minor league cricket. It's just we're really looking forward to all the fans are looking forward to seeing this, and you're right in the thick of every one of those things. So that's why I wanted to have you on today on the show, because you are in the middle of everything right now.
Yeah, hopefully, like my cricket has been getting better over the years, and hopefully, I keep staying on this path, and just keep working hard. Just there's no substitute for hard work, so I just have to keep working, and also have to have some luck at some stages, and just hope that my time comes.
Yeah, you do need luck, and we talked so many times. I was talking to Rusty last week, a lot of it's luck. A lot of it, you have the major league, especially Major League and Team USA. A lot of it comes down to luck, because there are only so many slots. Every team has needs to fill. We have more of certain roles in this country than the other. You know, we don't have a ton of fast bowlers, don't have a ton of fast bowling all-rounders. We got loads of opening batters. We got loads of left arm orthodox spinners. And so, yeah, even guys like Vatsal Mukkamalla, who blew everyone out of the water in 2021 in minor league cricket. It was a phenomenal bowler. Guy, you know, he was to bowling what you were to batting as far as the young guys went. And he didn't get picked on a team. We had Nisar Patel, left arm all-rounder for USA, didn't get picked on a team. It just goes to show you can be a very good player. Mila Aponzo didn't get picked on a team.
Yeah.
And Karima Gore didn't get picked on a team. It all depends on your role and what the team needs, and a little bit of luck there, because you're splitting hairs when you're talking about the difference between some of these guys.
That's true. Yeah.
Thank you for joining me, Sai. I really appreciate your time, and good luck this year, and congratulations on that beautiful century that you scored.
Thank you.
It was historic. It was probably my favorite. It was between me and you. It's probably my favorite century that I've seen so far.
Thank you for having me, Nate. You know, it's a pleasure to come on and, you know, talk about cricket, something that I love. So it's always easy to do so.
And great. Well, you do a good job at it too. Thank you very much.